Hello, my name is Christian Devine, and this is my audition to be one of the crows in Demon Slayer.
Charlie Kirk shot dead in Utah.
I just saw Charlie Kirk basketball highlights, and no joke, he had a mean jumper. Like, he was like a point and shoot, like they could throw it to him, he'd shoot from the corner, real good, right? Just like found his position, shot. Which makes it all the more confusing that, like, recognizing that he, like, actually was pretty good at basketball, why was he always hating on LeBron? He'd been hating on LeBron for like 15 years. I knew that Charlie Kirk was like 6'4", but I didn't know that he was playing ball. So then why was he such a hater? I'm gonna assume it's the racism, but I don't know. Yesterday, Trump claimed that there were people in Baltimore who were born to be criminals. Let's roll that clip.
This is about the
Many
homeless,
people
by
off
the way.
Streets of Washington, D.C.
He's just calling them
they're
hardcore criminals.
They're not going to be good. In 10 years, in 20 years, in 2 years, they're going to be criminals. They were born to be criminals. Frankly, they were born to be criminals. And they're tough and mean. And they'll cut your throat, and they won't even think about it the next day.
I'm going to talk about that in a second, but here are the 4 key takeaways you should have from Trump's announcement yesterday. Number 1 is that we bombed a random Venezuelan boat.
When you come out and when you leave the room, you'll see that we just, over the last few minutes, literally shot out a boat, a drug-carrying boat, a lot of drugs in that boat.
This is potentially in violation of international law, and also, fun fact, the punishment for selling illegal materials isn't death. It's not. Also, he refers to them as terrorists, so I can expect nothing for this sort of action to escalate, which is very depressing. Thing number 2, born to be criminals. Context is that Trump wants to send federal troops and agents into Chicago and Baltimore to clean up those cities from the homeless and from violent crime the same way that he has done in DC, even though Chicago and Baltimore have had historic drops in violent crime. He rounded this out with a statement that will make his biggest fans go wash their white sheets for the local bonfire. Trump's doing a minority report claiming that people who have not yet committed crimes will likely commit crimes in the next 10 years, which is also a self-report on the fact that they are not actually arresting violent criminals in DC. They are just brutalizing the local black community. If you don't understand why this is a bad thing, feel free to email me and we can clockwork orange you with Roots on a loop until the image of LeVar Burton gives you nightmares. Last thing, and the reason why this entire announcement was called, is that he's moving Space Force from Colorado to Huntsville, Alabama, because he's mad that Colorado has mail-in voting.
I mean, the problem with Colorado is they have a very corrupt voting system. Look, I have so many friends in Colorado.
Wait, they're
Anytime
moving
you have mail-in voting, you have corrupt
Space Force to Alabama because of mail-in voting?
It is an incredibly petty move and an attempt to use federal powers to hurt Colorado's economy in order to further the narrative that there's something wrong with mail-in voting. That was the briefing. I hated watching it. I feel dumber for having watched it. This is our country now. I need you guys to lock in with me real quick, okay? We're in, you and me. Here's the thing you need to understand about New York City Democrats. When Hakeem Jeffries, House Minority Leader, aka AIPAC Shakur, refuses to endorse Zohran Mamdani, it's because his genocidal sugar daddies told him that he's not allowed to, and his spine is made up of so much pudding that it could pull Bill Cosby out of retirement. But when Chuck Schumer, Senate Minority Leader, refuses to endorse Zohran Mamdani, it's because the Baileys, the imaginary family that lives in Long Island that he made up in his head and has been consulting for the past 30 years about all of his political decisions, have probably decided that they would not support Zohran Mamdani, even though in his own headcanon for the past 10 years, this family has been Trump voters. He still is basing it on them. So, on the one hand, you have a spineless shill who needs that money to continue to get reelected, and on the other hand, you have an old man with a rich imagination and a colorful inner world that is unfortunately the guiding hand of our opposition party politics. Which one is worse? Hard to say. The 2028 presidential candidate should be a no-nonsense stud. I was having a conversation with someone who is a speechwriter for a senator, and he genuinely said to me, I think we're done with the DEI experiment, and that what we need more on the Hill is white guys in communications. Real take from a non-white man. My take is that we just actually did not go far enough with identity politics. We presented people of different skin colors and different sexualities and stuff, but they all act the same. It's hey, I'm just like you. We need somebody. We need stud 2028. We don't need a Joe Rogan to the left. We don't need a blue Trump. We need a no-nonsense stud who was in the military who now manages a retail location. We're pushing too many sanitized versions of minorities. We need to push full out. We need to just go 100%. Oh, you wanna know what's in my backpack? Economic reform. Housing plans. You have to full send it. You can't half-ass it anymore. The vice president needs to have an eyebrow slit and then almost exclusively listen to Bad Bunny. Campaign announcement at a hookah lounge. Don't take this seriously. Kumbaya, my lord. Come on, everybody. Kumbaya, my lord. It's togetherness. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya, my lord. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. Yes. And no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, then look at yourself and make a change. Oh my God, Charlie Kirk was just shot and killed by a white guy in Utah, one of the whitest states.
What if we blew up black people? What if I threatened to stab black students at NYU? How do I blame black people?
You'd think those Second Amendment rights, like no tyranny people, would care more that Donald Trump is literally declaring war on American citizens, but apparently if you're the right color, they'll just bend over and say, harder daddy, no lube. This post on Truth Social, which says, I love the smell of deportations in the morning, Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War, with an AI image that says, Shy-pocalypse Now, which if you don't know is a reference to the film Apocalypse Now, which is a retelling of Joseph Conrad's The Heart of Darkness through the lens of the Vietnam War. It's a really good movie. It's one of my favorite movies. The character he's meant to be here is one who was bombing cities, and it's the smell of napalm in the morning, just endless cities in Vietnam. When the President of the United States sends in federal troops in opposition to the will of the mayor, to the will of the governor, to the will of the people of those cities, that's tyranny. When the President of the United States draws up images of the Vietnam War and compares him sending in troops to napalm, yeah, man, he's declaring fucking war on us. You know, I can't believe the small government people, well, I mean, I can believe it, but the small government people are just bending over and doing backflips, bouncing on it, back and forth, up and down. Just cuz. It's crazy. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. What's your question? Are you a father of 2 children who love you with a perfectly happy life and a wife back home who loves you as well? Yes, I am. Would you like to start doing this life-threatening and entirely elective sport and or activity for no reason other than the thrill that can completely take you away from your family for the rest of their lives? Well, why the heck not? Sign me up. I'm doing some stand-up comedy today for the first time in a very long time, and I'm going to bomb, but there are gonna be a lot more funny comedians there if you want to come through, and it's free. I don't know why I agreed to do this. I haven't done this kind of thing in years, but there's gonna be a lot of comedians who are actually funny people. I'm not even 100% sure why they reached out to me. I don't know, but it's free, and I'm pretty sure it's just like outside of ABC. I think that's, I'm not entirely sure. There's so many details I don't know, but come through, watch a brother bomb, and then follow it up with some actual funny comedy. There are also tickets you should get. It's just for a head count. But yeah, if you're gonna come through. Yeah. If a black student showed up hanging from a tree at a school that I ran, I don't think my first move would be to lie to his parents. Not only that, but once the information got out and the parents found out, I don't think my following move would be to talk about how great race relations are at my school. Then if there was crucial information caught on the way to the incident, I don't think my move would be to hide that. You know, I saw Mecca talk about this, but I'd like to reiterate that when black folks take themselves out, it's not hanging from a tree. And I don't want to be all tinfoil hat conspiracy theory about this, but we know better, right? So at least allow a bit of healthy skepticism in the idea that a Mississippi police department would say that there was no foul play found in a young black boy hanging from a tree.